We'll need the LP heater.
No. That sun's gonna be so nice.
It's not going to be shining down in that valley. I'm taking it.
Okay, sure.
The heck with you, tough guys. We would just keep drilling holes until we found fish. Really? Okay. Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. It's the 28th of November, the day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving. Amos said that he was in charge of making the Thanksgiving meal for his family, and he had all kinds of different specialties. He didn't bring any leftovers though, which is a little bit unfortunate for me. Because we're heading to a ground blind, and this would be the perfect place for some Tupperware containers filled with leftover green beans and squash and I don't know what all Amos made, but we're gonna go up the valley just above the scrape tree, one of the blinds that I moved a couple days ago. That buck that I've been hunting with the split brows did show up there in legal shooting time yesterday afternoon. And I have definitely learned in my career of chasing these things that, especially during the rut, they never do the same thing 2 days in a row. You think, oh, he's over here now. Well, then the next day he's half a mile away. But we're approaching that time of the year when the food becomes a little bit more of a driving factor for these bucks. I'm not saying that they aren't still rutting. They definitely are, on a less of a degree than what they have been, but they're still looking for does. So it's unlikely that he'll be back there again tonight, but we know that this is the area where he lives. I think these ridges that overhang this valley are his primary living room. I'd say at any given time, if you're trying to find that buck, he's going to be on one of those 4 or 5 ridges that sticks out over this valley. So it makes sense that if we can sneak in there without the deer knowing, we got a decent chance of that buck showing up. It's a northwest wind, very light, kind of a little bit of a squirrely wind. I think it's supposed to switch to west and then maybe, I don't know, south or something before the day's over, but they're all going to be real light winds. So I think up in there, you know, as long as it lays down like they're forecasting, that it'll be mostly thermals coming down the valley, and that'll work out perfectly for the way that blind is set up. But I can feel wind again now. Yeah, it's definitely coming from the northwest. It's got a little bit of velocity to it. It's in the 20s, mid to upper 20s. And it's supposed to only get colder now for the next 4, 5, 6 days. So I would expect that, you know, if they aren't already hitting food, within a few days they're going to be. And with that snow coming in tonight and all day tomorrow, there might be a little bit of activity that's spurred by just the weather patterns today. We will find out. Whatever we see, we'll show you. And hopefully before the evening's over, we can bring you some action. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, the Hunt Stand app, Whitetail Institute, Research Equals Results, B3 Archery, Muddy Outdoors Tree Stands, Stealth Cam Trail Cameras, My Outdoor TV, and Hoyt. 2.5 hours left. The shadows are just dropping into the valley now. The sun is still above the hills on the west side of the valley, but pretty soon the whole valley is going to be in shade. Then what little bit of breeze there is going to be rolling down the valley, which is perfect. There's a logging road, ATV, tractor trail, whatever, that comes in from our left. The deer use that a lot. I would say very high possibility that that's where they come from. So we got to keep an eye in that direction. But I wanted to spend just a quick minute on that Jordan buck deadhead. And I should have probably developed that story a little bit more when I was going through the episode of finding that deer dead. Had a lot of questions about where he was and if it was where I expected. And he was at the southeast end of what I thought was his summer range last year. There's kind of a big draw to the northeast end of this property, and it's where we put the blind in, the orchard. We kind of put that in specifically for that buck, thinking that if he's still alive and that's his summer range again, or that's his early fall range, that we're going to catch him on apples. And I think, who knows, we sure might have, because he was down in the very end, the lower end of that area, of that draw. There's a series of ponds if you go up the valley from the buildings, and he was in one of the ones towards the top. He wasn't in the water, he was on the bank, and you couldn't really see him, I'm sure. We drove past it, I don't know how many times, probably several, after he died. And I don't remember smelling anything in there specifically, but I don't remember very well. Maybe I did and just never paid attention to it, but you couldn't see anything until the weeds frosted down, and then you could see him down in there. So that's why it took us that long to find him, even though he wasn't really very far away from, where we would have expected him to be, or even very far away from the trail. It's too bad because we started getting him pegged, like I said. That was where we had expected him to be. And then last year, his fall range was kind of south and west of there. He had a bigger range in 2024. And normally, I've said it before, but when the bucks hit that age 6, the ranges generally start to get smaller, and they become more daylight active. So I think that he would have been a lot of fun to hunt had he not died during the summer. So it's a bummer, but I just thought you'd like to hear a little bit more about where he was and whether he was living the life that we thought he was going to be. And as it turns out, he was. So it might have been a really fun fall had he only survived.
Awesome. Yep.
Really?
Only took you 2 guesses. Not a giant, but quality possum.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah. He's not a magnum like the squirrels around here.
I've got about 45 minutes of legal shooting time down in this valley. It's going to get dark early. We just don't get the benefit of the rays of the setting sun, because it's not even sunset yet if you're up on top of the ridge, but down here it's been in the shade for, almost an hour. The wind died down to really nothing. I'm guessing it's just the thermals coming down. I'm looking at the grass Even the slightest little small blades of grass aren't moving. That's good. The only problem with that is the deer don't like to move very well when it's super still. But the thermals are beneficial to the way we're set up here because the deer should come from the north. That would be up the valley. Or they'll come from the west, which is to my left, which also is up the valley. Starting to get a little chilly. I like having this LP heater set on low. Everybody thinks that that makes you soft. I'm okay with being soft then. A little softness isn't going to hurt me right now. A buck coming in wouldn't hurt me right now either. Tomorrow we're supposed to get a bunch of snow. Who knows whether the weatherman is going to get it right, but it could be 7+ inches. Don't know where we're going to hunt just yet. We're not going to hunt in the morning, but it'll be one of these ground blind sets on food. That possum's running off the plot. I don't know what got under his skin. That's about the most exciting thing we've had happen in the last hour. Well, I appreciate you joining me here. I'll see you right back again tomorrow for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream. I'm going to let Amos say it. Big.